Hi guys,
Welcome back. I'm CJ.
I'm Biz.
Today we're going to dive a little bit into your birth story.
Yeah, um, I've been trying to remember it all the past
I
couple of
get it.
days. I feel like I honestly blocked a lot of it out because
Girl, same.
it was just, for one, birth is traumatizing regardless. I mean, no matter how beautiful it is, it's still a little traumatizing.
Yeah.
And then, especially when it doesn't go any way that you plan.
Yeah, yours was like shit hit the
Yep,
fan and
exactly. Yeah, so I guess I'll just start with I was 39 weeks exactly. I had a appointment that day and I went in really concerned actually because I hadn't felt Joseph kick a whole lot all day.
yeah.
And I was told like once you hit, I want to say it's like 24 weeks. I don't remember the exact
Once you can
weeks.
start feeling them moving,
Yeah.
them not moving is not a good
Yeah,
thing.
it's a concern. And so I brought it up and I told her at like the end of my appointment, like she asked like any concerns, anything, and I was like, yeah, I haven't felt him move a whole lot today. And I was told to do the kick counts and he's not reaching them. Like I don't feel him as much today. And she just was like, oh well, yeah, you're extremely swollen and retaining a bunch of water, so you're probably just not feeling him. His heart rate's a little low, but you should be fine.
Oh my god.
So she sent me home and my appointment was at like I want to say like 3:30 because it was just right to where Darren couldn't go because he normally went with me
Mhm.
and he was not there, and so I went home and just kind of tried to see if I could still feel him, and I really wasn't feeling him. And then all of a sudden I started getting extremely intense sharp pains in my back, and at this point it was probably like almost 5 o'clock, and
Mhm.
Darren was home. I couldn't eat dinner. As soon as I tried eating, I was throwing up everywhere. And I just remember sitting on the toilet thinking, like, I just have to poop. Like, I don't know what's wrong with
Don't
me,
poop.
but yeah, something is telling me, like, I have to poop. And maybe that's what this pain is. And then it started coming in waves, and the pain would like just intensify. And I was like,
mhm.
something's not right. And I kept trying to be like, no, I'll just sleep it off. I just kept coming up with an excuse after an excuse. By this time it's like 7 o'clock, and Darren's like, no, something's wrong, we're going in. I call the on-call doctor who was like on call for the night, and I was
Mhm.
explaining everything. He said like, if it's not better by 8 o'clock, go in. And by 7:30 I couldn't even move. I was stuck to the toilet, could not move, and Darren had to carry me to the car, and we were on our way to the hospital.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I literally I gave birth at Deaconess, and so you have to like ring in and go through like this whole security checkpoint almost to get in. And I'm like ringing the doorbell, like, let me in, I'm giving birth.
Open the door.
Yeah, open the door. Yeah, and uh, I'm like walking in, waddling in, and all I remember is going up to the front desk and being like, something's wrong. Like, I don't know. My doctor said he's on the way. I'm here now. And she starts handing me paperwork to fill
Oh
out.
my god, that pissed me off so
Yes.
much.
And I'm like, no, I'm going to puke. And she was like, what, really? I was like, no, yeah, no, I'm going to puke right now. Puked all over their reception area, like on the floor. And they just kind of rushed me into a room after that. And
Well, yeah.
I didn't fill out any more paperwork after that. And then they hooked me up. My doctor was not there yet. They hooked me up to the little monitors that tell you if you're having a contraction or like what's happening. They check the baby's heart rate. And honestly, at this point, I just went like, I don't like, I just blacked out almost, it feels like. And so I pretty much blacked out at that point. And my doctor finally shows up and they gave me this little button to tell me, like, when you feel what you're explaining to us, he gave me this little button to push whenever I felt like when I was feeling that severe sharp pain to
Mhm.
make sure it was contractions.
Yeah.
And I was having a contraction every 30 seconds. And um, so they checked to see how dilated I was, and I was only a centimeter dilated. And he said, at this rate, like the baby's heart rate's way too low. We need to get him out. And I just was like, okay, like, what does that mean? And then I just heard emergency C-section, and I just, like, I seriously don't remember anything, like, any talking. I just remember, like, instant panic, honestly,
Yeah.
because I didn't research anything about a C-section. I planned on having uh as natural as a birth as I possibly could stand until I had to get the epidural or whatever
Mhm.
my plan was, but not a C-section. And then they had a surgeon come in and try explaining it to me, and I
You weren't
yeah,
present in that
I
moment.
was not present at that moment. I was just like nodding and
Uh-huh.
smiling and
Uh-huh.
waving pretty much.
Yeah.
And she was amazing though. Like, she sat me down, and this nurse that I had, I wish I remembered all their names, but I cannot.
Same.
And she was just holding, the nurse was holding my hands and like helping me sit there getting ready for my spinal. And I just started bawling and shaking and crying, like, I can't do this. I'm so scared of needles in general. Like, I didn't even want the epidural. And they had to, like, not slap me, but almost just like
Basically,
shake me
get
into
your
it.
shit
Yeah.
together.
And she was just like, do we need to pray? And I was like, yes. Like, I don't, yeah, just pray for me. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm so scared. I was bawling, and the nurse just held me and was like praying. And I think they were trying to distract me a little bit from the
Well,
needle,
yeah.
but I still felt it, and I like jumped and was like, ah! And they were like, you can't do that. Like, you have to be
Well,
extremely still. I was like, I can't, like, I
yeah.
don't think you guys understand. Like, I haven't even been to a doctor before I was pregnant, really. Like, and now this, like, I was not prepared. And yeah, I just remember getting the shot, and at that point I had to be alone. Like, Darren had to be left out in the hallway
Oh my
because they
god.
didn't Darren had to be left out in the hallway because they didn't know if the spinal was going to work and I was going to have to be put under or not.
Mhm.
And if I was put under, Darren would not have been allowed to be in there.
Oh man.
And if it worked, they were going to bring him in. And so after what literally he claims it was like 45 minutes to an hour,
Oh
but
my
I
gosh.
I don't remember how long it was. But they brought him in, and uh the I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I just felt dead. Like, I felt I couldn't move. I didn't even know I was breathing, so I started panicking that I wasn't breathing. Um I pretty much started panicking, thinking like I'm not breathing. And the um not the surgeon, what are they called? The people who do like the yes, the
Anesthesiologist.
anesthesiologist.
That's a big
If
word for
it were
Elmo.
not yeah, if it were not for this man, I probably would have died of a heart attack, like, because I was panicking so bad. But he came down to my level, and he made Darren like grab my hand, and I couldn't feel it, but he was like, "You're okay. You're breathing. You wouldn't be talking if you weren't breathing. It's just because you're numb and you don't feel your chest rising and falling." And then this part's kind of gross, but I was like, I think I'm puking, and I just felt
Ugh.
like it felt like I could feel that I was like, I don't even know how to explain it, because I couldn't feel that I was dry heaving. I couldn't feel, like, I just
But you
felt it.
just felt
Yeah,
it.
I felt it come up. And so he just had a little like dentist
The
sucker thing.
sucker.
Yeah, and he just stuck it in my mouth, closed my mouth, and I was like vomiting, and they're sucking it up, and I just was like laying there, and I was trying, like, my body was telling me to fall asleep, and I was like, do not fall asleep. Like, I kept everything I could to like keep my eyes open. And I like just felt like I was just laying there, and I felt like tugging, like I could feel my body being moved around and tugged,
Yeah.
but I couldn't feel any of the cutting. I couldn't feel anything other than like being jerked around, almost, is what it felt like. And then they were saying like, he's out, Dad, do you want a picture? And Darren stood up to take a picture, and then Joseph was completely blue, not breathing, so they took him away instantly, and Darren did not get a picture. He just said he saw like my insides everywhere.
Yummy.
Yeah, and so now we make it a little joke saying he knows me inside and out, but
Literally,
yeah,
though, he
literally.
does.
And so yeah, Joseph came out, was not breathing at all, and they still had to like close me up and put all my stuff back together.
Yeah.
And they said, "Dad, are you going with baby or are you staying with mom?" And I just said, "You're going with our baby. Like, do not leave him alone." And that is the point where I don't truly remember anything else. Like, I feel like I maybe even did pass out or fall asleep, but I don't know. And all I remember is Darren coming back in and being like, he's alive. He's on this. He's like on all this stuff, and he was showing me pictures of what he took, and um, they're wheeling me out of like the surgery room back to our room, and I just hear my mom's voice, and I was like, "You called my mom?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, I thought you were dying. I called your mom and your dad." And I was like, ugh. It was like 3 a.m. and my
Yeah.
mom is there, like, and when I got to my room, I couldn't even like function. I barely remember the conversations. I just remember my mom asking like all the questions for me because I couldn't. So I'm kind of thankful she was there, but at the same time, back then I was so like, we're doing this on our own. People can come once the baby's here. And so I was taken aback at first because I was like, "You called my mom?"
Yeah.
But I'm thankful now because I didn't have the brain capacity to ask the type of questions she was asking. And that's when they explained to us that Joseph was on the cooling process to stop any brain swelling because he went so long without oxygen. And so they had him on oxygen. They had him on all these different vitamins and things. And um, he was on, they call it, I think it's just literally called a cooling process. And what they do is they wrap him in a blanket that's um, pretty essentially freezing him. And they had to drop his body temperature to, I believe it was like 90, I want to say it was like 93 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And to stop any brain swelling, make sure that he wasn't going to have any brain damage. And I learned like a couple days after, I was talking to one of my nurses, and she said, "Yeah, we're the only pediatric hospital in this area that has that process. And if you even would have gave birth to him at Sacred Heart, you would have had to be flown to Seattle. They wouldn't have let you come here." And I just was like, because everyone was shocked when we said we were giving birth at Deaconess, and was like, "Go to Sacred Heart, go to Sacred Heart." And not that there's anything wrong with Sacred Heart. I've never heard anything bad, but my gut just told me Deaconess.
Yeah.
Like,
Sacred Heart, I feel like, is the known pediatric hospital. Or they
right.
have the known pediatric hospital. People don't realize that, like, Deaconess and
Yeah.
Holy Family doesn't really do that kind of stuff, because I remember being sent to Sacred Heart when everything happened with him, but
Yeah.
I feel like Sacred Heart is the known one, which is why people were like,
Exactly. Yeah, Deaconess. Yeah, but I couldn't have spoke any better about the people from Deaconess. They were amazing. Like, I don't know how many surgeons like pray over their patients before they go into surgery, but she made me feel so comfortable. She kept checking on me. Like, she would come up to my room and be like, "How are you doing? I just checked on baby. He's doing good." And then like on my 5th day when I was being checked out, she was just like, "Please stay in touch." And she actually scheduled an appointment with me with just her instead of my doctor, so she could take off that fancy bandage and stuff I was telling you about, and all the fun things. And I had dropped 40 pounds in water weight within my 6 weeks of giving birth, just because I was retaining so much water.
yeah.
And yeah, so then Joseph had to stay in the NICU for 9 days. I had to stay in the hospital for 5. And yeah, it was kind of hard, like being wheeled up and down every day to see the baby. We
I'm
could see
sure.
him. It was like at 6 in the morning, or no, it was like 9, 12, and 3 or something like that, that we could visit him. And then we could also go back for like a 6 o'clock one. But once we went home, going back and forth to the hospital 3 times a day, 4 times a day, it was
Yeah.
a lot.
I'm
And
sure.
so we mostly would go home, and I would pump and sit in the nursery and cry, honestly, and just count down the days until Joseph could come home. And then he was sent home on oxygen, even. So we had to do like, he didn't even leave his nursery until he was 4 months old, because he was constantly on this big oxygen machine, or if we went anywhere, we had to put him on an oxygen tank and carry it around with us. And yeah, it was a lot.
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, the day after we brought him home from the NICU, it was Easter, And so
Yeah.
I should have just listened to myself and not went, but everyone wanted to see the baby, and we wanted to show him off at that point.
Sometimes you have to just be that little
Yeah,
bit of selfish.
right. And I wish I would have, because the 2 days after we brought him home, we were out here when we lived in town, and then we were out in Kingston, well, Mullen Trail area, and
Mhm.
it was just a lot to make sure your tanks are full, to make sure the baby's okay. Then I was panicking, like, leaving him in the car for so long on oxygen, or I even was like, can we even bring the oxygen tanks over there? Like the elevation, like everything scared me.
You were thinking of the smart stuff.
Yeah, and um there was it was one point where he was almost off oxygen. He technically, according to the doctor, did not pass his overnight test, so he had to be on oxygen still for like 80% of his awake time, and then 100% while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
And Darren and I just kind of said screw it at that point, because when we were at home monitoring him, he
He'd
was
kick it
fine.
off.
Yeah, he would kick
Yeah.
it off. And so it was really hard to get results from all night, because how are you going to keep this little toe monitor on a baby all night? It's so
Yeah.
hard. And so it would, like, the machines would be going off in the middle of the night saying he was dying, and it's just because he kicked it off. And so eventually Darren and I just pretty much were like, you know what? He's our child. We see the numbers every day.
Yeah.
It sounds messed up, but we were like, if his numbers start dropping without oxygen on, we're obviously going to put it back on, but they never did. And eventually he passed his overnight test once he was 4 months old, because he wasn't kicking and flailing like a newborn every hour. Yeah. But yeah, I just tried to go in pretty much instant survival mode. And yeah, once he came home and everything seemed to go to normal, it kind of went to normal, but at the same time he was on oxygen and all
And
the fun things.
postpartum
And
and
exactly,
yeah.
postpartum. And then your husband goes back to work, and then it's just like, oh, you feel like you're restarting, and it's a lot. So now when everyone's like, when are you having another kid? I don't know. Maybe when I'm not as traumatized.
After therapy.
Yeah. After I start therapy and Joseph maybe is in college.
It's still crazy to me that I get asked that question.
Right.
I'm a single mother.
Yes.
Like, I think Hunter just moved the chair.
That's okay.
It's like, I need to finish a couple steps before I can get to the baby part.
Right.
I'm here. Having another baby's over here.
Yeah. By the time she's ready, I'll probably be ready.
Yeah. Lock in, maybe with a certain somebody.
Yeah.
Date for a while, then get married, then another baby.
Right.
But we'll see. His
I love
jacket
it.
is in my car. But
Ooh.
anyway.
Yeah, she left a scrunchie in his, but
I didn't.
oh,
I meant
dang it.
to. I
Little hair
meant
clip.
to. He asked me to leave one in his car. Last night he was like, you should leave like a hair tie or like one of your cute little hair clips in my car.
Okay.
And then I went on the rant of ADHD of, you know how dangerous those are to wear.
Yes, especially the claw clips.
And he was like,
really?
oh.
I'm the same way.
But I'm finally officially diagnosed with, I have papers now for ADHD.
There you go.
That was such a weird little
side quest.
That's me for you, though.
That's the ADHD talking.
Mm-hmm. I can have 20 conversations with you when I only meant to have one.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Next. Yeah. You have any final thoughts?
My final thoughts for this would just honestly be to prepare for absolutely anything, because my whole pregnancy, I don't want to say it was like normal, but I had no indications that anything was going to happen. I had no reason to believe that any of this was going to happen. So just prepare for absolutely everything. The only thing that I guess would maybe be an indicator is I was so sick my whole pregnancy. Like, literally could not eat anything. From the moment I woke up to the moment I fell asleep, I was throwing up.
Yeah.
And but even still then, like, all the doctors said it was normal. Everything. And then
advocate for yourself.
Yes, I was just gonna say, use your voice. Trust your gut.
Even if you think because everyone tells you, have a birth plan, have a birth plan. Do not be set in stone in that.
Yes.
I only planned to have vaginal, and I was lucky that I didn't have to have C-section, because if I did, I wouldn't have been prepared.
Right.
So prepare for anything, advocate for yourself,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah, what was I just thinking? Oh, um, don't let doctors intimidate you. Just because you're a first time mom doesn't mean you don't know your body. I had instincts that were telling me something was wrong, and just because my doctor said, "Oh, you're fine," I trusted them. I was a first time mom. I didn't know what to expect, so I put my full trust in them. I'm not saying to not trust your doctor, because all of them are amazing. They have amazing skills.
Yeah.
But do not trust yourself. If
Yep.
that makes any sense.
If you feel that something is wrong,
Seated.
you know your body best. And if you feel there's something wrong, especially when you're pregnant,
Yes.
I understand the first time pregnancy, you're like, nah.
Yeah, you don't
But
know
if
what to
you
expect.
truly feel like this is not right, this is not okay,
Yes.
say something. If you need to get a second opinion, get a second opinion.
Yes.
I went to the emergency department a couple times.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is not right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can only second that. Like, when your mama instincts are telling you something, please believe them.
Yes, literally. All
Yeah,
right.
I guess that's really all I have to say about my birth story. So I just want to thank everyone for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.